Boys and girls, moms and dads, welcome to Pin to Pin, the Volleyball Podcast. My name's Ryan Tolman. I'm your host. To my right here is Danger Will Robinson. And behind the screens, our producer, Noah Cotterman. Let's get this show going. Episode 14, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about, we've been at this almost a year, and we only have 14 episodes.
Once a month.
Yeah, it's hard to get this podcasting thing more challenging than it looks, but we're excited to be here.
If it does look challenging, good, because that makes us feel a lot better.
We make it look so easy, for sure. People are like, wow, those guys are geniuses. Anyway, we're excited today to talk about something that is this time of year-ish, if you will. If year-ish is a word.
Year-ish. Anytime you add ish,
it's a word.
It's a word.
Right. So today, we're going to talk about the word gratitude. We're kind of on this buzzword kick, that last episode, accountability, so we've got some...
I don't know if this is buzzy as...
It should be more buzzier than it is in our world. And so we're going to talk a lot about gratitude. Why be grateful? And why are we talking about gratitude? What time of year is it? It's
the holidays.
The holidays. Thanksgiving was last week. So being grateful for things is kind of
on our minds. And then we have like Christmas coming up or whatever, the New Year's.
This is a good time of year to kind of reflect on what you have and what you're grateful for and
what you don't have.
What you don't have. And give yourself an opportunity to really, see your world for what it is. Because we're very fortunate.
Yes.
I know I am.
I am too. But you don't always see it when it's yourself.
Right. Well, yeah, you tend to look at the bad parts. So we'll talk about some of that today. I'm pretty excited.
We're also going to talk about something else too.
Yeah, we've got...
That's what I'm really excited for.
I know you're excited about it. It'll be good. So we have a question from a donor. We'll talk about that coming up. But we're excited to get rolling. Let's start today with Noah's Trivia of the Week.
Such a good one.
That
was a good one. All right, so last episode, the question was, what was the first year that the libero position was introduced to NCAA women's volleyball?
And we were saying 90s, right, Will?
Did we write that down?
I did not write your guesses down, but what are some of your guesses? We'll just refresh them.
I think I said 96.
Yeah.
Or 98. Because I'm not an odd person.
Yeah, because then I was like, if it was even Price is Right, it would be a year if I just did one.
Yep.
I'd say 1992.
92 and 96. Both of you are wrong. It was introduced in 2002.
Holy crap,
oh, wow,
dude.
Okay.
Very late.
And it's women's.
It's women's.
So I wonder if men's was earlier.
Men's, I'm not sure. Maybe that's a question down the line.
Down the line.
That's interesting. I did know it was 92 was way early. I knew that was early, but that's okay.
And then we have another question.
We do.
Well,
so
your new question. That was last week.
Yeah, that was last week's question. New question. What was the first year that beach volleyball was introduced to the Olympics?
Yeah, that is a sport.
Beach volleyball in the men's, women's, was it introduced at the same time?
It did not.
We not care about
not
that?
specifying.
Okay,
so I think it's going to be at the same time. Actually, no. We'll go men's because I know for a fact the question was about men's.
Okay.
So did Karch get to play in the Olympics?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say it was going to be around the 90s.
We've asked a lot.
I feel like we should go specific years because there's like there could be.
No, that's where my train of thought is going.
No, but hold on a sec.
Okay, I'm holding.
We've asked a lot of beach volleyball
and we
questions.
Know nothing about
beach volleyball.
We haven't asked that many. I feel like
all of our questions have been.
Noah loves beach.
I know, it's been crazy.
He does like beach.
I do like beach.
He loves watching it.
Yeah. I like to watch it. I'm terrible in the sand. I'm not a good volleyball player anyway. People should know this.
We should have Harward on.
Haley would be great. Haley Harward's a friend of ours. She's a great volleyball player in the sand. Mm-hmm. Some people move great in the sand. Like Dax moves as well in the sand as I think he does indoor. It's crazy.
I don't get on the sand.
It's hard.
Don't even get on it. Just look at it.
Just like, cool.
Yeah, I'm good right here.
It doesn't look fun.
Because I don't think it was in Barcelona in 92. I don't think it was there because Karch played in that as an indoor player.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say 96.
Okay.
Atlanta.
Write it down.
Remember your answer.
Atlanta, 96.
I'm going to write it down then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine.
You going 96 in Atlanta as well?
There's not many choices, right? Because if I go 2000...
What's wrong with 2000?
Well, I just think it's too late.
Well, then that's your answer. You can't have my answer. I said it first.
I want 96. I want Atlanta 1996.
Okay, Will.
Okay.
I'm going to say Will and Ryan.
Will and Ryan, 96.
Okay, what is it? Oh, no, we're not
can't
doing
say.
it.
You don't do
right
it.
now.
It's
Jeez, I feel like
Jeez.
we've been here before.
Jeez.
Guys, leave me
This is a
alone.
big cheater. Teacher over here trying to cheat the
I'm
system.
not trying to cheat. I just forgot. All right, so
Hey, let's move on.
we've been
Enough trivia.
Enough trivia for the day.
I love trivia.
We've had. I know you do.
my
I'm so
favorite.
bad at it. We've
So are my
had
kids.
some. We got a donor, another donor to our show. If you want to donate, Venmo is posted on the YouTube. Actually, if you go to our show website that you can get to through the podcast stuff, there's like usually a link.
We linked that in the YouTube video, right?
Yes, we do. We'll also get a link tree together and throw that in our Instagram
We
bio.
should do that. I don't know how to do that, so someone else.
That's a
one.
Noah
Working
thing.
on that right
Yeah,
now.
thanks, Noah. So then, so we get some people who donate to us. Only like 4. This is like our 4th or 5th person. I don't know.
What, are
Can't
we
even-
going to start with 1,000?
I
No,
can't even get my
gotta-
mom to donate to us, so that's kind of frustrating. But no, she's actually, if I asked her, she would.
I don't
Anyway,
even think my mom knows about our podcast.
Gosh,
Noah, you got to tell her. So she's like, "What do you do on the weekends?" Nothing, Mom. Leave me alone. Dane Hoff is a volleyball player here in Arizona. Plays at Perry High School where I coach.
and Aspire.
And he plays at Aspire where we all coach. He's on our 17 Falcon team, and he is an incredibly intelligent young man.
Beyond his years.
Yeah, intelligent and mature, can have a conversation with anybody about anything at any time. Very thoughtful.
Very cool guy.
Very intentional.
Very
human
cool
being.
guy.
Yeah, absolutely cool guy. Everybody loves Dane Hoff. He's incredible. And so he donated $15, which didn't need to, but it came with a question.
He donated $5 three times.
Yes.
because-
So, Dane, if you have more questions, we'll take them. Right?
Yeah,
You only
yeah.
asked one. You're entitled, I guess, 2 more. And you don't even have to donate to ask
true.
questions because we'll answer all of them anyway.
We love it.
But he did ask a very good question, and Will's very excited about this.
so we're doing that right now.
We're going to do that right now.
Okay. Okay.
Before we get to gratitude.
I'm a little nervous
You should be.
because
So,
I'm just worried about how the audience is going to perceive this.
well, hey, listen, be 100% honest. People need to know. They're like, okay, now tell us the question. So the question is, which do you like to coach more, boys or girls?
Am I going first?
I don't know how we should do this. We'll go first.
I don't
We'll
know that
go
we
first.
should. Well,
He said we'll go first.
Sure.
I like that idea.
what do you like more, boys or girls? And maybe explain why.
Okay. Overall, coaching volleyball, I would much rather coach a boys team than a girls team.
Okay, why?
A boys team has less off the court issues or non-volleyball issues, as one of my good college coaches calls it, non-volleyball issues
Okay.
that girls teams just always do.
We
That
just got, before we started filming, you told me that this boys team you have right now has boys that are like, I'll show up this time. I won't show up that time.
I think that's a different conversation though than them not liking each other and then it affecting the level of play on the court. That's a commitment thing.
okay.
That's not she said this on social media, now I can't pass next to her.
How often has that happened to
Oh,
you?
dude, there's so much we don't know that happens in a girls' volleyball season. Every day is World War III.
I feel like
I've
that's
had that actually happen. I don't coach girls that often. Very few. I think I've only gotten like 3 or 4 seasons of coaching girls under my belt. But there were multiple times at Park where I used to coach, where it was like, well, X, Y, and Z said this to this person, and I can't do this, and now we can't warm up together, and now we can't even. We can't even. We used to ride to practice together, and now I have to find a new ride, and so I get where that comes from. Right? I feel like at the boys' game, it's like, hey, like I don't like you. I want to beat the crap out of you off the court, but if you step on the court and you can help me win, we're gonna go after and win.
About it. Yep.
And granted, that changes on the level and the skill and the maturity of the athlete that you're coaching. But I think it's a lot easier for guys to put their differences aside and go win than it is for girls.
And I think the reason for that, and I'd love to know what you guys think, but I think the reason for that is boys play more sports growing up than girls. So they just get used to playing.
I think you're both way off.
Go, then tell us how off we are.
Way. I completely disagree with you.
Okay, this is good. We need disagreement. We don't need a room full of...
Yeah, I think that boys experience the same types of things as girls do. I think they're a little bit better at pushing them aside. But I look at these teams on the wall and I, reflect on some of the stuff that happened with these boys teams. I have girls teams over here too. And the chemistry matters to win at any level, boys or girls.
I agree.
And so if you have a team full of boys who just doesn't really like each other, for the most part, okay, yeah, we can push it aside and go play hard and we'll try to win. But you're still going to run into adversity and you will splinter and you will struggle because you don't have that chemistry. Every single one of these teams, the really good ones, were able to push those differences aside and build chemistry.
Okay, so
it didn't matter. I don't necessarily experience what you guys are saying with my girls' teams. And maybe I'm totally oblivious to it. I know I'm not going to say I'm completely ignorant to this. I know that there are instances where there are little beefs going on between girls on the team. I understand that. I have a daughter, right? I understand that component to it. But I don't know that I've ever seen it raised to the level where we can't play together and we're not going to try to win.
I have not experienced that at Aspire. Only 2 or 3 seasons coaching girls. I only experienced that at the college level. So
here's what I would say. I have now been a part of 2 teams in which 2 of our best players didn't want to play with each other. This is girls. So they decided to play for another club.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's... But boys do that.
I don't know if as much.
Well, I think they do. Absolutely, they do. People don't want to play with this guy or that guy or whatever. So if you have a choice, you're going to go play somewhere else. I don't think that's why you like coaching boys more than you like coaching girls.
I think you see it less in boys because there's less options for boys to go other
potentially.
Places.
Yeah.
As well.
I enjoy coaching girls, but it's not every girl.
Well, I
can say the same thing about boys. Right. I get that.
So I don't know that I don't know that I just don't think your reason is one to say that that's why you like boys more than girls.
The off the court stuff affecting the on the court stuff?
I just don't know that it's dramatically different for girls than it is for boys. And maybe again, I am turning a blind eye to some of that stuff. I just don't. And I work hard at culture and chemistry and
I hope you're a coach.
Camaraderie. I work hard at that with my teams, right? And you have to be able to, as a coach, you have to be able to nurture, develop, right? Create a role, a relationship, a feeling of belonging for each kid. And I think when you start to splinter is when you have kids who don't feel like they have a big role or they don't belong or whatever. My coach or my teammates don't need me. And then little things like that start to splinter, boys or girls. Girls maybe more than boys because they become a little bit more emotional to the situation than boys do. Again, these are gross stereotypes, right? Because
blame it on Dane. This is Dane's fault.
No, it's a great question.
It is. And it's a question, honestly, a lot of our kids ask us during a season, like at practice.
Sure. All the time they ask these questions.
Hey, who do you like coaching more? Right? I'm like, oh, geez, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're talking to a girl. I like girls more. You're talking to a boy. But so then there's another phrase that's out there that says girls...
Yeah, you're talking
girls bond to battle, boys battle to bond, right? So that's the biggest.
We need more team bonding.
That's the part I hate. I'm not a big team team bonding for me, specific setup, we're going to do these little activities. I will say though,
escape rooms. Sign me up.
But escape rooms are organic.
Are they?
Absolutely.
We signed it up though.
You take everybody to it. It becomes your bonding within the escape room becomes organic.
Okay,
you set okay, hey, everybody meet at this time. We're going to do this activity with these balloons and blankets or whatever.
And if you don't balance it, the stick dies or breaks.
Right? Like we got to get her from here to there without touching the ground. How are you going to do it? I don't. That stuff I hate.
But they eat that up.
But so let's look. Some girls do. I don't know. I don't know. Let's look more tactically then between the difference between boys and girls, because I think that's really the root of why you like coaching boys more than girls.
I think it's harder to win a boys volleyball game than a girls volleyball game.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because in a boys volleyball game, you have service pressure like no other compared to the girls volleyball game. Even though girls can serve the crap out of a float serve.
That low net, man.
Dude, that ball gets on him quick.
I am terrified of receiving a girls.
Yes. I know, you're
terrified.
I also know the arm in a men's volleyball game is harder to stop than an arm in a women's volleyball game.
Correct.
So tactically, your block placement, your dig location, all that kind of stuff is going to be that much harder. And the ball's going faster. So all of these variables are at a drastically harder level.
Yes.
Hence why digging in the girls' game is more important than blocking. And in the men's game, blocking is more important than digging.
Yes.
That's
what you like.
What?
The blocking, the speed, the power of the game. That's what you like. That's why you like coaching boys more than girls.
Yeah, but then the problem is in the men's game is the errors. There are way more errors in the men's game due to the risk you have to take in order to beat the good teams.
Right. So I'm the opposite of that.
You like seeing long rallies.
I don't like seeing long rallies when my team doesn't win them. What I'm saying is...
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is I like the tactical side of a girls' game. I feel like as a coach, I can scheme more. I can create more mismatches, more strategy.
Boys, you just say, hey, jump and hit the
I hit hard, right?
Yeah.
And to a certain extent in a high school boys game, I can do that as well. And I love that level because I think it's very similar. Once you get into the big, once you get into men's volleyball, like you watch an Olympic men's or professional men's volleyball match, it's like some dude's ripping a 70-mile-an-hour serve. It's either in or it's out. Maybe we get a good pass. And if we get a good pass and I'm going to cram this down your throat, we're going to hit the ball and it's over, right? So watching a men's volleyball match is very different than watching a women's volleyball match. And I think a lot of people around the country and around the world would prefer watching the women's game.
Why?
Because
you're absolutely right.
There's more rallies, there's more action. Yeah. It's not in or out.
That's the 6-minute serve in a row.
Right. It's not that. So
but both at their best, men is way more enjoyable to watch.
If you say so, there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with you, and I'm on the fence with that.
I'm totally fine with disagree with it. That's the whole point of opinions.
I do love watching incredible athleticism from the men's volleyball world and doing some just incredible things.
When we were in Chicago this past, I don't even know when it was.
Last weekend.
Sure.
2 weekends ago.
6 months ago. But on the last day, got to watch, gold matches, Balboa Bay, like those are. We've seen the best girls, and I've seen the best boys, and we've seen the best boys. I'd much rather watch those Balboa teams compared to a TAV team.
Athletically, yes.
They're better at touching the ball.
It's fun to watch high-powered athletes. It's the argument of men's versus women's sports in general,
You're right?
So that part we don't want to argue. That part is for sure. You just can't, right? And whatever. Some feminists out there are probably offended by what I just said. You just can't compare the two. The men's game, no matter what sport, is faster and more dynamic and all of those things. Just because they're bigger, stronger people. The question is, what do you like coaching more and why, right? So for me, I actually don't know which I like. I actually probably like coaching boys a little bit more, but probably because I've done it longer.
You have done it longer. 07 versus...
2010 maybe. This was my first year coaching girls.
Like JV?
2009, something like that, but it's freshman girls at Desert Vista. Yeah. But so a varsity boys volleyball season is, kind of ingrained in who I am, and I love it, right? I love the day-to-day with those boys. I love being able to yell at them in the middle of a practice and then and then watch them respond, right? Girls, you gotta bring them back in and say, hey, it's okay. Everything's going to be fine, right? Coach got mad and now we're just going to move on. But so I like that part, but I also love the girls' technical side and the fundamental part of the girls' game that is really,
you know what I think girls are better at than boys is like being detail oriented.
Right. And
I think
like
that's
that.
I think that's one thing that I would say is way different. But I also know that girls love having drills. Gotta have drills. Boys can just play,
compete,
so
I like that more about the boys, right? I love watching them compete, no matter, even if it's in
we
a
could
drill.
do the same practice every day,
and
the boys would be like,
right.
great. I could do the same practice for a month for girls. Like, this is getting boring. I can't do
we
it.
need to do something different.
All right, we've changed the points. Like we've changed how you can score. No, it's got to be called something different.
So yeah, there's definitely some unique little differences between girls and boys. And it's, I guess that
did he ask anything else?
you gave a really good answer, Will. You were very definitive about I like boys more. I'm sorry to you listeners.
I was raised by a single mom too. So like, right. I love,
I'm sorry to the listeners and the viewers.
Someone's got to pick
I did not give a definitive. I like boys or girls more. I like boys because of this, and I like girls because of this.
No, you did.
But I probably like boys more.
Noah?
Yeah, I'm going to be boring as well, I guess. Like it kind of depends on the mood and mindset that I'm in during like that.
Yeah, but right now you're just a boys coach.
Right now I am just a boys coach. In college, I will 100% admit I am having more fun coaching this Benue men's team than I did the Park women's team. Granted, does that have to do with our success and the athletes that we had in there?
It's tough. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Like 100% sure, because listen to this, 100% sure, because the most fun I have ever personally had as a volleyball coach was in 2017 and 2018 when I coached that girls team at Aspire that was one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
Some of the best volleyball players in the country. Absolutely had more fun coaching that year than I maybe have in any other year except for 2021 when my Perry team won the state championship.
I also just think I'm enjoying my time more with who all I'm around. I don't necessarily know if it has to do with...
It's got to be both though, no, because you're around those kids who are at a high level, who are playing hard, who bought in, right? All of those things.
Yeah.
If they were females, I think you'd feel the same way.
It's probably.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it just depends, like kind of like you said, like I like the strategy and like, hey, like we can do this and it's going to be very easy to win. And then, we
I would say the relationships. Sorry for cutting you off.
Go.
That was rude. I'm so sorry.
Then at Benue, we give them the scouting report. We're like, all right, well, this is what we can do to stop them. But if we just jump high and hit hard, we're probably going to win.
Your game plan is not. It's not
very
the same.
Different game planning, very different strategy stuff.
But that's why I like high school boys volleyball, because you can do a lot of really. You're not going to play. Teams may have a guy that's going to go up and rip a ball or whatever, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. But for the most part, you can game plan against most of these high school teams. These boys' high school varsity teams really game plan,
in our
really
state,
focus
yes.
in our state.
In
absolutely.
our state, yes. In California, if we were in California, it'd be very different.
I'm tired of that because I've played California teams and they're not.
You know who we should have on? Jake Nuneviller.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
Jake's gonna have a good input on.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all relative.
Yep, I think it's all
because
relative.
if you have the players on your side that can, keep up on the other side, you're fine, right? Like we've game planned for 18 open boys club matches, which is higher level than any high school you're going to get in California, and more
often, well, I wouldn't say more often than not, but in years past, we've had teams where 7, 8, and 9 of the boys all go to the same school.
Right.
So
same
that's
high
their school team.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. It's an interesting conversation. We did not think we could fill a whole episode with this, but we're
100%.
We're really pretty close.
This is such
right?
an interesting conversation.
I know.
It'd be great if we had like a girls only coach sitting right here.
Well,
Andrew, like Yamashiro.
Well, but he's still kind of both.
No,
but
he'd much rather coach girls. Trust me.
And I know his answer.
Yeah.
We know what his answer would be. So, if you've never coached both, you have no opinion. So we'll just leave it at that.
You got to coach both.
You got to experience both. I think they both have,
and we've done that for 5 calendar years at least.
I think they both have incredible things to offer. from a personal perspective, right? I learn things from the girls that I do from the boys, and and I've used things in each girl season. I learned this, and I try it in the boys, and it works, and vice versa. And I think I coach a lot of my girls teams like I do my boys teams anyway. So the gender for me, for the most part, becomes fairly irrelevant in how I do it. But
they have to know you care more in the girls.
Yeah,
the boys don't need that emotional connection as much.
They don't, but my teams always know I care, boys and girls, and I think that's probably why
what makes you different, though.
And I think that's why I don't necessarily see a big gap between the boys and the girls, because I do enjoy both of them. So anyway, and I have a daughter, so I have to.
You do have a daughter,
and
who you're not picking up today.
I know her mom's going to get her from school, so that'll be good. All right, well, let's get our episode topic going really quick. After our 20-minute conversation about
Easily.
Dane's question.
Yeah.
Dane, thanks for the question, buddy. We appreciate that. If anybody else has
need
questions,
more of that,
yeah, hey, shoot us a $5 donation and ask a question, or just ask a question. It's fine too.
Yeah.
All right, so gratitude. Back to where we started. Read our quote of the day. Will, who's that from?
Quote of the show.
A quote of the show. Show quote.
If we magnified blessings as much as we magnified disappointments, we would all be much happier.
By
Mr. John Wooden.
Yeah, who's that?
Yeah, so you know what's funny?
You don't know who he is?
I absolutely know who John Wooden is.
That'd be embarrassing right now.
That would be very
Of my
embarrassing.
16s boys, because I do trivia with my boys. Whether they like it or not, don't really
Doesn't
care.
matter.
It's more for me.
Correct.
It's more for me.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. How many of them knew who John Wooden was?
Oh, no.
Or is?
I know the answer. I was surprised at the answer. I would have assumed at least one or two would have known them.
And only...
None of them knew?
None of
No. One.
Who?
Chin.
Okay, that's
Caden
what I would have
the only one who knew he
Caden
was.
Chin.
That's what I would have
No
Shout out.
expected.
He is the
Oh
only
my
kid on my
gosh.
16s team who knew who John Wooden was. Or is I don't know. Was, because he's dead. Yeah.
Dude, that is rough.
I know. And
All
that's
right.
like the greatest, one of the greatest. Like he's a Mount Rushmore coach.
It's also
100%.
tough because a lot of the kids on that team were like 2 and 3 when he died. They were
Yeah,
very
but
young.
still, you have to know your history
it's
of
tough.
sports, right?
I know it, but we're not kids, I guess.
How many of those kids played basketball? Only 2.
Yeah.
Chen and
I wonder if
Vanderpool, and
Vanderpool was
Braden
there, he
Vanderpool
would've
wasn't
known.
there.
I'm gonna ask the
guarantee
Perry
he would have known
basketball
them.
players if they know, because they play
Yes.
basketball. I'll ask
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So if we magnified blessings, right? What does magnifying blessings mean? For me, I think the way you magnify something is you have to recognize it, and then you have to display it, right? You have to make it prominent in your life. That's how you would magnify.
Or you can feel it.
Sure, right?
Like that's what they say in mindfulness. Like you think about something and then,
Right. That's the recognizing part, right? Because if you're magnifying disappointments, right, you're constantly focusing on the negative stuff
the
that's
negative
happening,
train
the bad things, right?
Yeah.
So
I think
this
it's
is
so
a big
fascinating
mindset.
that our brains are wired for the negativity.
It's pretty incredible because when you find a positive person, they blow your mind.
It's like, this is too much.
This guy's incredible.
Yeah.
My dad is one of the more positive people I know, period. And he's in every situation. There's only been 2 or 3 times in my entire life where I've
down?
seen like bummed out dad. He's incredible.
Reed
is incredible. And I can tell you the times, I know the times when he was mostly bummed out. Otherwise,
Were
it's
they
all
in his
positive.
control or out of his control?
Out of his control.
Yeah, most of the time it is.
But even in other situations where it was out of his control, he was still positive, still magnifying the blessings as opposed to dwelling on those disappointments.
It can be hard.
And isn't the point of life to be happy anyway? Right?
Happy or relationships. I don't know which one.
I think happiness. I think
relationships give me happiness.
Sure, you find happiness in all different parts of life, 100%. Right? There's different ways to find happiness. Relationships is a bit
gives me happiness.
All right, so
This show is sponsored by
Solid Go sponsor us.
So we just gave the 5th grade answer there. I'm thankful for Salad and Go. Mm-hmm. Let's get a little deeper. Okay, so.
How do we show it as coaches?
As coaches, how do we show our gratitude?
Well, I think this is something as coach
What are we grateful for?
fail to do a lot is to tell our teams that we are grateful for them. I do believe that.
Wouldn't have a job without those kids showing up.
Well, whether it's a job or not isn't the question. It's more so growing with them and going through something with them that I think is what's special.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's a paycheck, of course,
Sure.
but there's a paycheck for every occupation you do. Not every occupation, though, you can say you went through trials and tribulations and grew from it, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The experiences that we have,
process.
the personal experiences that we have with these kids in general is something to be grateful for. 100%. I mean, the relationships
we were talking about
that we
the other
build.
day. You know, teenagers is literally like our motor. It's like what it's what our life is. Like,
Yeah.
because they teach us so much without us even expecting it. You know,
They keep us young.
they do.
I heard
Whether or not we want that is a different question. They're too much sometimes. But
I heard an interview with Pete Carroll back in the day when he was at USC, and he was talking about how being he didn't talk about how he cheated, but he was talking about how being in the college game, you know, obviously living in Southern California, he's like, I'm surrounded by 19, 20, 21-year-old kids in this incredible, beautiful environment, and they keep me young.
Yeah.
And I think,
and he's still young.
he's probably the oldest coach in the league.
He's 70 something now.
He's probably the oldest coach in the league.
Fact check, Noah.
But
He's
you
on
wouldn't,
it.
but you wouldn't know it because
No.
of how he lives his life, right? And I think he embodies this whole magnifying blessings. He always seems like a super positive guy.
You know who doesn't? Who's like the greatest?
Bill Belichick, the opposite of that.
The two oldest coaches right there. Pete Carroll, 70. Bill Belichick, 69.
Yeah,
did
I'm
not
telling
think
you,
Bill
Pete,
was that old.
Yeah,
Wow.
Bill's old.
Yeah,
Well,
we're on a first name basis. Hey, Bill.
So yeah, as coaches, I think that we can
We
show
gotta
our.
tell them more.
We do need to probably talk about gratitude more. I'm big on this gratitude thing lately. You know, at our open gyms, and I forced our
This
girls.
is good. Yeah.
I forced our girls to go get their parents at our open gyms before our girls' tryouts and bring them out onto the court and give them a hug and tell them that they were thankful that they brought them to the open gym and that they're going to pay for them to play club volleyball and all that stuff.
Because not everyone can do it.
You know, when at our banquets, my boys' banquets every year for Perry, you know, when we're done introducing the teams, they go and they give their parents a hug and say thank you. It's an incredible way to express love for another person by expressing your gratitude, because it's easy to ignore the little things.
Well, and
it's
you
easy
take it for granted.
to take it for granted. And when you express your gratitude towards somebody, I think it's a real deep expression
And
of
sometimes
love.
you forget. I mean, there's days where like I'll send you a text or just like my buds, like, dude, I love you, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks for being
Thanks for
man.
for being there.
Right. Just being
You
a
know?
guy.
But I don't think we're weird. We don't do that. And I don't know why.
Well, guys
I
don't do
think
it
just
enough.
people.
In general.
I don't know why.
And then I don't think we do it enough as coaches. I don't think we do it enough towards our players. I
The
try.
connection would definitely be stronger.
Yeah,
And that's
try
why I think
with
those certain coaches like Pete Carroll, those guys will go through a wall for him.
because I think
because
he
of
talks
what you're
about
talking
these
about,
things.
yeah.
I would be shocked if he didn't. I try
Bill
hard
Belichick?
to tell my. I know he's so professional. I try hard to talk to my boys at Perry, because those are the kids. I think if I took all my teams, I think the Perry boys high school volleyball team would be where I've probably focused most of my energy, coaching energy, at least especially right now. But because I'm with them, those guys a lot.
You're with him a lot,
for 4 years.
It makes sense.
And I try to express to them how much I love them and I appreciate them and I'm grateful for them. And love is probably the most underused word or used in the wrong way word in the English language.
Okay.
It's okay to tell somebody else that you love them. In fact, it's probably needs to be done more and tell somebody else that you're grateful for them. It's okay. But if people look at it, it's kind of an awkward thing or whatever, and they're not used to it. They don't hear it enough, and so they don't understand where that's coming from.
American culture, though,
That's what I'm
because you go to other countries, and the way they express love is very different compared to us.
I had Lorenzo telling me he loved me a week into practice. I love you, coach. I love you, coach.
Where's he from?
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love that kid.
See, and
We just don't have that.
we don't
here.
do that enough.
And I think we need to, especially.
I try to say it to my kids. I want them to know that I care about them, and love and gratitude, I think, are very
interchangeable.
similar.
Yeah.
They're very hand in hand.
Yeah.
So next question then is, how do we want our kids to display, our athletes to display gratitude towards us or the sport? Like when you're looking, and is that important to you? I mean, do you want a grateful player? You know, are you looking for somebody who expresses that kind of gratitude?
Well, I think in any healthy relationship, there always needs to be, give and take that's as equal as possible. But that's like super.
Yeah, the coach-player relationship is going to be hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I would say you need to know that your players at least give a crap about you.
Yeah, but how do you want them to express that? I can think of a couple of
every kid is different. Every human's different.
Yeah, but I think correct. They're going to express it differently. But for me, the grateful players are the ones who
play
just
hard,
show up, and they play hard.
Yeah,
they don't present excuses. You know, they don't try to get out of stuff.
Yes, coach.
Yeah,
that's cool. All right, dude. When I coached like in Texas all those summers, like the most respectful kids I've ever coached in my life.
there's that funny line of like
too much.
Well, too much, and it's just like this is just how I've been taught, and this is okay.
Doesn't make it bad though.
It makes me I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but I feel like it's very awkward when instead of like a yes coach or something, which I'll be the first to admit, I don't necessarily require my athletes to say like yes coach and call me coach all the time, right? Like it's just, and I think that's a difference between older generation coaches and newer generation coaches. But when an athlete of mine says yes sir,
you don't like that?
No, do not say yes sir to me, please.
My biggest pet peeve with this kind of thing is when it mostly happens during tryouts. After tryouts, they all come walking up to you and they want to shake your hand. Thanks, coach. Thanks for what? Like being here? Well, I was going to be here no matter what.
I have 3 players that do that after every practice.
I've got
a bunch of players actually that do that on our 18 every practice at Aspire. Every practice.
I'm okay with that because
you gave them something.
They're there, because you built a relationship. I actually am okay with that. The ones I'm talking about are the fake ones, like you were talking about. No, a little fake, right?
Are you talking open houses or tryouts?
Tryouts, like high school tryouts. They'll come up to you.
Oh, now I got it. Yeah, they're trying to win you over. Yeah, okay, now I get you. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, coach. I actually tell them, if you shake my hand, your chances are probably out the door. Don't come shake my hand. Don't say thank you.
They're so confused, these poor kids.
I know, and they're just staring at me like, what? My mom and dad told me that I need to come and say thank you and make sure I shake your hand, coach. Now you're telling me I can't? How am I going to make a difference? So there's definitely a fine line between real, true gratitude and fake gratitude. And you have to be real about it. You have to be genuine. You have to have constant, I think, conversation and communication about it because it's important. These kids need to know you care. You're grateful for them. And I think as coaches, when we feel that gratitude reciprocated, it makes all the difference in what we're doing. Because we don't get it. We don't hear enough of that.
No, we hear the negative. Almost all the time. Almost every of the time.
And so then that's
when we get an email, for instance, on an admin side of things, most of the time that email is something is wrong, not something is right.
Sure.
Right?
90% of the time it's like,
it's never like, wow, Coach Noah's done a great job in X, Y, and Z or whatever it is. It's, hey, Noah sucks. It's like, it's never good things. It's never good things. It blows, man.
Yes, it's the worst part of the job is that we put our heart and soul into this, and we have some ungrateful parents and players. So let's go to the last part of our show here.
What?
Grateful parents.
Hey, parents, if you're grateful, honestly, just never talk to the coaches. Because you're always going to say something. I do too. Tolman, you know me and parents.
You do.
But most
really
of the time, though,
those relationships.
But then it turns to the point where it can turn. It absolutely can turn. And that sucks. Because you're like, do you really think I'm trying to make your kid worse? Like, do you really think my end goal is to make your kid worse at this game and at life? No.
Well, yeah, no. This is 100%. You are 100% right. It would be nice to have parents recognize that, but I don't know how you ever.
You know who does
fix that?
She's a Perry mom.
Who's that?
Tammy. Blue.
She's
Blue's
always.
Mom. Oh, she's great at it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Another one in our club.
I haven't coached him yet, so
yeah, no, she's super grateful.
Nick's dad on our team. Nick's dad. Love him.
Yeah, Mike's
cool
great.
Guy.
He's great.
So see, they're out there, guys. They're out there.
And those are the parents we love, right?
Yeah.
And so I wish that more parents would realize this. showing gratitude. And here's your challenge for the week. And we don't ever
Parents.
do challenges, right?
This is a parent challenge of the week.
Parent, and you're listening. You've gotten this far. You've put 40 minutes into your day to listen to us, and you're at this point. Show your coach, the coach of your kids, that you're grateful for them.
Yeah. Even
know?
if they don't have the role, your kid doesn't have the role that you think they should have.
Those are even the lessons that are even more important.
Yes.
Like, find a way to help your kid understand that this is how life is.
Yes.
Right? You're only going to have one CEO, right? You're only going to have one head of this or one manager or whatever. You're never going to have. Not everybody can be the guy,
well,
right?
Not everyone can get a trophy.
Yeah. So help your kid understand that it's okay to have different roles, but that your coach is there to help them, and be grateful for your coaches, because there's enough of us out there that battle every day without in a thankless world. You know what I mean? And that part can be hard.
I'll add this because I think it's important to find it daily. Being grateful, you got to find it daily. And one of my favorite apps that I have is called the Calm app. Mm-hmm. You've heard of it?
A lot of people have been using that. Yeah.
It's LeBron James. He endorsed it. I think someone else has too.
So I'll never use it.
That's fine. I love LeBron. He's a goat of
Do
mine.
you though?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, geez,
he waved at me when I was a ball boy. So we have a connection clearly.
I can't.
They're
stand
clearly
it.
best friends.
Clearly now they're best
I
friends.
know LeBron. I know Bill. We're homies.
Can't stand
Anyways,
him.
so in this app, there's something called a gratitude check-in. Whether or not you need to pay for this app, I'm not saying that. But every day I do a person I'm grateful for, a place I'm grateful for, and a thing. So a person, place, or thing. And do I repeat? Yes, absolutely.
That's okay.
But some days I notice something that I'm grateful for that I never used to.
Reflection on gratitude is huge. Like when I'm in a rut, this is similar to that. When I'm in a rut, whatever that means, right? Like I'm struggling in life. I'm not as happy as I normally am, or whatever. Like I'm, and I think people can relate to being in a rut, right? Like when I'm struggling, most of the time, the way I reset is by having one of those reflection moments where I'm just like, okay, what is it that I actually do have? And what am I grateful for?
And you realize you have a lot.
And then it's like, holy cow, why am I acting like
Yes.
this? Why am I in a rut? The rut's just stupid because look at all these, and it's not even necessarily things, right? It's not material things. It's grateful for relationships.
I've sent you that, right? Like sometimes I'll do my calm thing and then I like share it.
No, you've never shared it with me.
All right, well,
have I ever made the list?
Oh, many times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You would make my list.
Cool.
Yeah, you too know.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Thanks.
I'm grateful
choking up
for you
over
guys.
here.
No,
That's the cold I got from Chicago. That's not. I'm a man.
Love, gratefulness.
This is good.
This has been really good. I think this is a topic that people need more of. I think we need to find moments to be grateful. Reflecting back on the last few weeks, I've been in a pretty negative world, right? This club volleyball thing,
Dude, it's hard. And you go ebbs and flows, man. There's your highs are high and your lows are lows.
Girls tryouts was hard. Not the tryout. Like once you get to tryout day, it's great. Just the leading up to that, and building these teams and attracting good players, and just players in general to come to your club, because it's kind of the name of the game, right? Is who can you get to compete, and all that stuff. Your team's got to be good. It was really hard, and I dwelt on the negative, like, oh, this is terrible, and I hate this and I hate that, and then then you sit back and you go, look at all the good stuff that happened, right? Look at all the compliments that we got,
the good coaches that we've added,
the people that were around, and most of the time, Katie's the one that resets it for me, and everybody kind of has that one person or whatever.
That's why you need a wife.
Make sure you take some time out of your day to reflect on what you're grateful for, and if it's a person, tell them. You know what I mean? Don't hesitate to tell people that you're grateful for them, and then show them. Saying it's one thing, showing somebody gratitude is a whole nother deal. So
words.
They do. Hey, thanks for listening. To Pin, the Volleyball Podcast. You can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram at pin, the number 2 pin, PinToPin. And then Spotify.
Thanks to our sponsor,
Salad and Go. Spotify, Google. What's the other one? Apple. One of those.
Podcast. No, just say podcast.
Wherever you find your podcasts.
There you go.
Follow us there. Catch us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.